Hello and good evening, or shall we say good night. Advitya is in a great mood tonight. She has started semi-solids. है ना बीटू? है ना? Alright. Okay, so today is Kargil Vijay Diwas. Is the day that we achieved victory in the Kargil war in 1999. And I was in class 9 then. And I was at Sanar. I remember Atal Bihari Vajpayee, I think, having a good statement or two about it. But what that reminded me was, and what I want to talk to you guys tonight about, is the Ladakh trips that I have been on. So I have been to the far upper reaches of the Himalayas in Jammu and Kashmir 3 times, and all 3 times were different, all 3 times were memorable, and all 3 times were exceptionally beautiful as far as nature and as far as the people's nature over there in those regions of the Himalayas is concerned. So let me start off by saying that the first trip was a double wedding trip in which we actually covered the Lahaul and Spiti valleys. So technically we didn't cross over into Kashmir, but overall it was great, and there was nothing much that we missed out in both the valleys, in Lahaul as well as Spiti. And like I said, technically it wasn't Ladakh, but it was the farthest reaches of the Himachal Pradesh boundary as far as tourism goes. So we went to Kaza, we went to Chandratal, and we did a circumambulation of Chandratal, like I do a circumambulation of our park, almost every night. So that was one of the most memorable trips, especially during it was after college days, of course, but with college people. So that was, yes, that was very enjoyable. And then the next time we went on a road trip. This was also a road trip, the Lahaul Spiti one. The next time we went on a road trip was from Delhi. We went to Manali, Vashisht, technically. Then from Vashisht we went through the Rohtang Pass. This was before the Atal Tunnel was opened. This was in 2017, if I remember correctly, and mostly I do. But memories can be deceptive as I start off my book, A Life Afloat. Photographs and videos are tangible proofs of the past. So with that, we took off from Delhi, went through Rohtang, and stayed at Jispa, which is a town. I won't even call it, yeah, I mean it is a town, a village maybe you could call it that, a little ahead beyond Keelong, which is the main city of the Lahaul region. So we didn't stay at Keelong because 1, it's a little crowded, and 2, we wanted to be right by the river. So we were right by the river in our tents, not our tents, in the campsite that we were staying at. And then we went through Baralachala and we crossed Sarchu. So generally people take a break at Sarchu, but we wanted to avoid that tourist trap. And so we drove on through the Moreh plains, which are like awesomax long straight roads with sudden dips in between, because they make those so that the molten snow can flow through in the summers. And then we crossed into Kashmir through Tanglangla, which is where snow started falling. So while we were crossing Baralachala, it was like 12-foot snow walls on either side. And then we went through Tanglangla, which was fresh snow falling. And this is the first week of June that I'm talking about. And after that, we crossed into Kashmir and we reached Srinagar late at night. and we stayed at one of the hotels in the main market. So next day, oh, I have skipped ahead. We reached Leh, and in Leh we picked up our inline permits from the SDM office, and we went to Pangong the next day. Stayed overnight at Pangong. We drove a little bit, not all the way till Chushul, because at that time I think after Spangmek, Man and Merak villages, the road was a little iffy, and then we returned to Leh. We wanted to go to Khardung, but the weather was adverse, so we just drove a little bit towards Khardung to South Pullu, and then we returned to Leh, and then we started on our drive back, and we went to Kargil, which is what reminded me about this trip, the Kargil War Memorial, which is absolutely a must visit for all Indian patriots, just to see how tough it is for our army men, our soldiers, our armed forces to keep vigil on our borders, to stop infiltrators and to stop our nefarious neighbors from, carrying out their very, very evil plans. Seriously, it sounds like a supervillain thing, but it's true. And if you think about it at the scale of global economics and politics, these things are very important to maintain the integrity of our nation. So we paid our respects at the Kargil War Memorial. I, of course, have a very personal connect to the Indian Army. My dad was KIA in Operation Pawan in Sri Lanka on 22nd October 1987. I mean, of course, my life has been tightly intertwined with the Indian Army. Alright, Betu, alright. We are into the final trip. And so we come to the final trip, which I took my significant other, and it was, of course, managed and very well coordinated by my school friend, who I will not name because he might not want his name out there in the public domain. That was before Advitya was conceived. And yes, Betu, yes, we are just about to take a break, okay? Don't get upset. So that was a nice trip. We flew from Delhi to Leh, and Advitya is getting upset, so I'll just run through it. From Leh, we went through Khardung to Nubra Valley, to Pangong, to Chushul, to Hanle, which is the highest astronomical observatory in India, and then to Nyoma, and then to Chumathang, the hot springs, and then back to Leh, and then we flew back to Delhi, and she is upset, so I'm going to call this a night and give her some, I'll try and give her some water. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Smash that sub button for awesomax fun. Check out my other videos. Advitya and Aradhye Ackshatt saying goodbye, good night, take care and stay safe.